We're here with the Micro Tote. So, little Red Oxx legend with this bag. This one was made as a joke. So we typically make a grocery-sized grocery tote. And then one day the crew decided to scale this way down and make one up and set it on Perry's desk as a joke. I saw it and I thought, wow, that's a cool little bag. And next thing you know, we started making them at first just for the production team to put their lunches in. So a lot of, this thing you can put a day's worth of grub in here and slide it right into the refrigerator. There's no insulation or any of that stuff to get in the way. So it's one of these little handy bags that's very, very easy to make, and it's a great little project for our home sewers. Moving on, let's take a look at how to make this bag. The parts we have here: 1-inch nylon webbing, a label, a main panel, 2 side panels, binding, that's all. We're gonna laser cut this thing out to the dimensions required. Next, we're going to cut the ballistic nylon side panels with the laser. And it will put in the indexing marks for the bottom. So right here, as this panel comes down in the orange, right in the middle of that, the bottom of that ballistic nylon will be a tiny little notch mark that will line up with the orange when you put the bag together. So there'll be 2 panels here, one on one end, one on the other. Now we're going to mark for the handles. And this is a wax pencil. It's like not a chalk, it's actually a wax, like a crayon with wood. It's buried under the webbing, so you'll never see that. And then we're going to put the label here. And you can see the handles go up and around and form the loop. There's an indexing mark on the black webbing for the loop on the handles. That was put on by the webbing cutter. A little bit of an overlap there at the bottom. Here's the side panel, here's the other side panel, and right in the middle of those black panels, in the middle of that orange panel, are those little notch marks I was talking about. You can kind of see how it all goes together right there. All of it's equidistant. Now, coming over to the webbing cutter, we'll show how we cut the webbing. This will measure the webbing, put the indexing marks on. This is where you see the little marks a lot. Right here, where the box X stitch, this is the point where you cut across and mark the top, or sew across the top. Here is a tiny little indexing mark that's put on by this cutting machine to show you exactly where to stop, make the turn, and come back down. Same thing here. With those 2 dots, keep the loops the same, so the bag balances properly like so. And the webbing goes all the way around the bag. Again, this is to give you support, strength, and no pulling the handles off the bag when you maybe stick 5 gold bars in that thing. The next up here, we're stitching the label on using our computer stitcher, which is kind of like cheating if you're a home sewer, but hey, use the tools you have. You can easily stitch this label on by hand. We just happen to have a program built for this label, and we can run it really fast. Okay, next step, we're going to put the handles on the bag. Starting at the top, she marks it and comes across right here first, and then runs what I call the long side. So you'll see there's a seam here and no seam here. So run the long side first. That gets you your first 2 parts of the loop. Come all the way down you always want to try to do long runs and things like that for efficiency. You'll turn and just make the long run home. Nice and steady. You can see the tick mark there at the bottom of the screen. Come back across the top, snip the threads. Now remember, this one isn't stitched yet. This is just tacking the handles in place and getting ready for the computer stitching. So let's get these handles down first. And you also notice real subtly there was a back tack, and that's another thing that we do just instinctively. We double stitch, back tack at the crossover points. It's where you back the machine up. You come back, you hit the reverse on the machine and back tack. Back tacking is just one of those extra steps. It's really nice to do. Okay, now we're going to come down the last side of the handle here on the inside. As you can see, this is where the 2 ends come together, and there's a slight overlap. So here we have a slight overlap on the handles, about 1.25 inches, and that prevents any sort of seam breakage right there. And then we'll come along and hit that with the computer and reinforce that as well. It's better to have an overlap because of the strength, right? You have 2 layers of fabric like that. That's a lap seam versus a butt joint. So boom, and then that stitching goes all the way through there and pulls everything together tight, and it's just one less failure point. All right, next step is the box X stitching. So we'll take it over to the computer machine and run the box X. I guarantee you I could sew one of these things blindfolded. I've sewed tens of thousands of box X stitches by hand as we started the company out, before we got our computer machines. So this is a good stitch to practice at home. You go over, down, around, up, diagonal, back across, up, finish. So you'll see I've double stitched. Here, having that double stitch right here, again, that's an extra point, redundant strength point, prevents failure. Okay, next steps. We're going to stitch the end panel on. Coming from the top down to the corner, turn with the needle in, come down. There's an indexing point in the middle of that black panel, and there'll be another indexing point in the orange. Make sure those line up. Needle in, make the next turn, come up. Back tack the finish point, see that right there. Cut the thread, and repeat the process on the other side. So mathematically, that is the same. From the top down to the bottom and back up the other side, the linear inches match. You can make these any size you'd like. Come down to the finish, back tack right there. Cut the thread. Now, next steps would be to put the binding tape on. Now over to the edger. First thing you do is you'll do around the outside, down the bottom, and back up the other side. Cut with the hot knife. Trim that excess off there. Repeat the process on the other side. Coming down around the bottom. Stop, turn, cut. And there's one more step to finish here. Now we're doing the mouth of the bag, and that seals in the loose edges from the vertical sewing. Again, hot cut here, and at this time, run it right through the machine and finish stitch it all the way down so there's no trailing edge. You can see the label right there as well. That's our maker's label. Okay, so first she went around and down and up. Come around this last step, pull the handles out of the way, start stitching this binding on around here to seal in this edge right here and finish off those points right there so you don't have a raw edge. You've got a nice strong mouth of the bag. Just coming around, finishing that off. Clip thread. The bag is finished except for final inspection. This one we built right side out. Most bags are built inside out. Just cleaning off that indexing mark with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Throws a dog tag on it, and it's ready to come out the door. So this bag is completely overbuilt. 1,000 weight Cordura nylon, ballistic nylon sides, heavy duty webbing. We're talking redunculous strength in a tiny little bag. But that's kind of just how we do everything. It's like, for me, it's if you're gonna take the time to make something, you should make it right, or not at all, really, because the joy in making things, it's one of the things that really, truly is what I believe we were put on this earth to do. This is a great learner's bag, a great beginner's project, just something you can do and get a quick win.